Okay. I give up. I give up. I figured if we sat around here long enough, someone would volunteer, but I guess no one's got the guts to do it. Junpei didn't understand, and he wasn't the only one. What? You guys didn't figure it out yet? Fine, fine. Let me enlighten you. Clover was mostly right with her little explanation earlier, but she missed something. She wasn't really wrong, she just... screw it. Let me just write it out. Dang, didn't even ask. Seven snatched up the notebook and began to write in it. Everyone else clustered around him, desperate for a look. Oh. So if we left Seven, the 6 remaining people could get out. Which isn't something I'd like to explore, but... if you're trying to leave with a group of 3 and a group of 4 and get everybody out, Clover's right. But there's another way. Only one combination, though. If you split us into groups of 3 and 3 and 1, you can make this combination. Wait. This means... Don't get me wrong here. I'm not trying to copy Ace or anything like that. Believe me, you don't want to copy Ace, he's a bad man. Even if he hadn't been the hero back in the big hospital room, I'd still be saying the same thing. The same thing? Are you saying... Yeah, I am. I'll stay behind. Why are you acting so heroic all of a sudden? Are you some kind of idiot? Lotus was the first to speak. That in itself was a little strange. She'd reacted much differently when Ace had volunteered. Maybe she's warmed up to Seven a bit? I'm completely against this. I'm completely against this. I don't want to have to owe you for getting out of here. The rest of them began to speak, all at once. I'm against it too. I didn't want to leave Ace behind, and I don't want to leave you either. I don't like that idea. There's gotta be other options. I disagree as well. I can't say I care much for you being the hero. Finally, they quieted down. Junpei looked at Seven. Well, there you go, Seven. Proposal denied. Clover's right. There's gotta be a better way than this. Seven made some noise that was somewhere between a derisive snort and a cough. Doesn't make any sense. He was doing his best to pretend they were making a foolish decision, but Junpei could see the twinkling of water at the corner of Seven's eyes. That was when Santa spoke. Whoa, hold on a minute. I haven't said anything yet. Until then, Junpei hadn't realized that Santa had stayed quiet for the whole discussion of Seven's fate. Yeah, we haven't heard from him in a while, have we? Something in his voice made Junpei uncomfortable. Are you agreeing? You want to leave him here? Santa shook his head. Nah, I'm against it. I don't want to leave Seven here alone. Then I don't see how it matters. I said alone. Eh? I said I don't want to leave Seven alone. There was a dull shine in Santa's eyes. They were cold and hard. Junpei felt himself shiver. What are you... What, you don't get it? I can't leave just one person. I need 2 more. 3 people, including Seven. I'll be leaving behind 3 people. That's my proposal. No. Those are my orders. What do you mean, orders? What makes you think you can order us around? Who's gonna listen to you? You all will. In 3 seconds, you won't have a choice. What? 3, 2, 1. Santa was so fast, Junpei could barely see him. When he moved, it was almost like watching a dance. His feet moving like lightning. He spun and... Oh my gosh! When did Santa become... Oh my gosh! See, this is why we don't let the crazy people get the gun now. Why did Santa go crazy this time? I thought he was a cool guy. Oh. Not that he's not cool anymore, he's just He's not trustworthy, I'll give him that. He had June. See? I told you. His lips curled into a cruel, mocking smile. A shudder traveled the length of Junpei's spine. So maybe... Okay. Let's just think about this for a moment, shall we? We left Santa with June last time, and, well, not in the knife ending, but in the safe ending. And we couldn't find him, and then all of a sudden we found June, and Santa was nowhere to be seen. And all of a sudden the door shut, and the gas came in the room. Maybe Santa was being nefarious without us knowing. And man, he was doing such a good job of hiding it. Way better than Ace did. A shudder traveled the length of Junpei's spine. His chest froze, and he could feel his breath go stale in his lungs. Nothing made sense. Junpei felt as though his head were about to explode. Santa's sudden change in attitude. Saying that he needed 2 more. The gun in his hand. A revolver. Santa had grabbed June from behind and pressed what Junpei's shaken brain identified as a revolver roughly against her temple. What was he doing with a gun? Where on earth had Santa possibly found a gun? Junpei's questions roared in his mind, but his mouth refused to ask them. I just imagine Ace is like, no, he beat me to the punch, I was going to do the exact same thing. Seven spoke, almost as though he had sensed Junpei's confusion. The gun from the other room? What room? One of the rooms behind door 6. I should have known he was going to do this. I should have taken the gun. Well, we all should have taken the gun, shouldn't we? Well, now it's too late. A mixture of fury and frustration twisted Seven's face as he glared at Santa. Santa, for his part, didn't so much as flinch. The corner of his lip twitched into a slightly wider smile. Then the smile faded, and he began to move. He walked backwards, dragging June with him. Before long, his back was resting against the door. On the wall next to him was the red. He put his hand on the scanner panel quickly, and then forced June to do the same. Now, time for you to start following my orders. Ace, Lotus, congratulations. I've chosen you to come with me. Put your hands on the red. Man, look at Snake. And look at Santa. Look at his face. 3 plus 6 plus 1 plus 8 equals 18. That was what Santa had meant when he said he needed 2 more. Hey, you deaf? I gave you an order. Santa's eyes narrowed to slits. He glared at Ace and Lotus. They stayed, frozen, like deer caught in the headlights of an oncoming car. Right. Fine. I didn't want to waste any bullets, but you guys just don't get it. No sooner were the words out of Santa's mouth than his hand twitched, and the gun roared. Oh, good. A section of the floor exploded, scattering wooden splinters across the floor. A thin plume of smoke snaked out of the hole in the floor. There could be no doubt that the gun was real and worked. But why? Santa, why are you... Clover's voice spoke of betrayal and disbelief. Santa, I thought you were one of us. I thought we were friends. What? You knew about the leaf word and the 4-leaf clover. Santa's cheek twitched, almost imperceptibly. What is that? I've got no idea. You're lying. Shut up. Just shut up. You want me to put a bullet in your head? Flecks of spit flew from Santa's mouth, his face twisted with rage. The Clover recoiled, her eyes wide. When she spoke, her voice was very small. Santa. He snorted, then shook his head vigorously and turned to face Ace and Lotus. Alright, what are you still standing there for? Get over here and scan those bracelets. I don't have all day. Oh, what's the matter? You hearing starting to go? Going senile, maybe? Ace and Lotus still didn't move. It almost seemed as if they couldn't move. June's face was pale behind Santa's arms. Her eyes were wild, and her chest heaved with every quick breath, like an animal cornered by a predator. Junpei's mind worked furiously. What were they going to do? Then he realized something. There was nothing they needed to do. There was nothing to debate. June's safety was the first priority. That much was obvious. Doing as Santa had commanded meant she would be safe from at least 2 threats. She wouldn't be shot, and she would leave the ship alive, along with Santa, Ace, and Lotus. There was only one thing for Junpei to do. He turned to Ace and Lotus. Please, go. Huh? But, Jumpy, what are you saying? If you stay here, you're gonna be stuck, Jumpy. And so will Clover and Seven. I know, but you don't need to worry about us. We'll figure something out. Right, Seven? Right. You just leave it to us. It's gonna annoy me to do what Santa says, but don't worry about me either. There's still something I have to take care of. But, no! You can't! Ace! Lotus! Don't do it! Don't worry about me! Please! June was almost crying. Junpei walked around behind Ace and Lotus. Without a word, he laid a hand on each of their backs and gently pushed them forward. They almost stumbled, then righted themselves and took another step. And another. They turned around and Junpei nodded. Ace and Lotus turned around again and walked slowly towards the door where Santa was waiting for them. After what seemed like an eternity, they stopped in front of the door marked 9. Santa smiled. Alright, now let's get those hands on the scanner panel. What's the holdup? What, you think I'm screwing around here? I don't give anything about this girl. The red doesn't need a person, you know. All I need is the bracelet. You get it? Good. Now put your hands on the scanner. I'm not going to say it again. He shoved the revolver harder against June's head and she winced. Fine. Ace sighed, defeated it, and placed his hand on the scanner panel. Lotus went next. Lotus glared at Santa and slammed her hand on the scanner panel. The 4th asterisk blinked on. Good job. Now Lotus, pull that lever. As soon as the door opens, you get in there. Try anything stupid, and you know what happens, right? Junpei could almost hear Lotus's teeth grind. A very interesting change. I really didn't expect this to happen. The door slid open. Door number 9 opened at last. It opened with a low, powerful rumble. A drumroll to welcome the chosen few. Alright. Go! Lotus and Ace walked through the door, their eyes furious but defeated. Santa waited until they were all the way inside, then hauled himself and June across the threshold as well. 6, 7, 8... Later. 9. After exactly 9 seconds, the door swung shut. The gust of air it created caused the candles on the altar to flicker and die. The room fell silent. Junpei, Clover, and Seven had been left behind. Clover looked down at her hand and traced with her finger the faint blue veins that crisscrossed them. Seven shoved his arms into the front of his overalls and scratched his stomach. No one spoke. Silence made the air feel thick and oppressive. Desperate for something, anything to occupy his mind, Junpei walked to the larger of the 2 9 doors. He stood in front of it and looked at the red. It read, engaged. He moved to the smaller door. The red read, vacant. The digital root of the remaining people was 7. There was no possible way for them to open a door with a 9 on it. Junpei touched the surface of the door. He thought about June, about Akane Kurashiki. Was she safe? I don't think so. She has a gun pointed at her head. That was all that mattered to him. If she was alive, if she had escaped this horrible boat, that was what Junpei prayed for. 7 came next to him. He pulled off his hat, scratched his head, and sighed. So, what do you want to do, Junpei? What do you mean, what do I want to do? What can we do? 7 opened his mouth to respond when... And we hear the knocking yet again. A noise echoed through the room. Someone was pounding on something vigorously. It wasn't mechanical. It was certainly human. Junpei and 7 looked at one another. What was that? Shh. Quiet. Clover motioned to 7 to be quiet. She put one finger to her lips and closed her eyes in concentration. The 3 of them listened, trying to determine where the sound was coming from. Where? Where was it coming from? Could it be... hey, I think it's coming from this coffin. You're right. Let's open it. But how? What are those muscles for? For show? You're telling me to force it open? Just shut up and try. Junpei and 7 grabbed hold of the coffin. They tried to get a good grip of what little purchase they could find and pulled with all their strength. Urgh! Yeah! Man, it won't even budge. There was some sort of keypad attached to the coffin. Its purpose would not have been difficult to determine. Their eyes were almost immediately drawn to it. Not another one. Yeah, looks like it. Do you think we have to put in the right password or it won't open? I think so. The noise wasn't stopping. In fact, it was getting louder. They had no idea who was in the coffin, but they wanted out, and they wanted out now. They had no idea what they were supposed to do. Without a passcode, it didn't seem like there was a lot they could do. They couldn't even tell how many numbers the passcode needed to be. Isn't there a hint somewhere? Well, let's look for one. Unfortunately, there didn't seem to be anything near the coffin. Clover ran to examine the pews, and 7 investigated the desk, but they turned up nothing. The sound still wouldn't stop. It wasn't a noise that belonged in that room. What was the passcode? What was Junpei supposed to do? How was he supposed to figure it out? He needed something. Best looking animation you've ever seen on a coffin. The world blinked. Suddenly there was a voice inside of Junpei's head. Truth had gone, truth had gone, truth had gone. Ah, now, truth is asleep in the darkness of the sinister hand. Oh, what was that? That voice? Junpei was utterly and completely baffled. Now, was that the morphogenic field thing happening from his previous lives, so to speak? AKA our different playthroughs? What are you talking about? What's up? 7 and Clover ran over to him, but Junpei didn't know what to tell them. If he told them he heard a voice, they'd laugh, or worse, they'd think he was going insane. So all he said was, "Oh, nothing." And I've been looking for a good point to stop. That seems like a good point as any, so we're going to stop here. And I hope you guys enjoyed. I am actually enjoying this. I didn't expect that our friend Santa, who had told us all about the dark and the white Santas and all that crazy stuff. I didn't expect Santa to go insane and get a gun and try to threaten people. It just didn't seem him. I mean, he seemed like a bad guy, but he seemed like a bad guy who wanted to be a good guy. And then now he's a bad guy, so it's like, oh, what a twist. And I can't wait to see where this goes. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. And next time, maybe, I'm pretty sure we'll figure out the code here. We'll get Snake and Clover reunited. Maybe with the 2 of their heads together, they can figure some important things out. And maybe we can figure out a way to get everyone out of here. Save June. Maybe kick Santa in the face. I don't know. Something. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!